When you look at the book industry, what are the main problems or main challenges you've observed? And what do you think can be done to fix some of those problems?
There must be planning. One, because we've been planning without facts. For example, how many publishers do we have in Nigeria? You can say that you can go to NPA and say those who register, but there are more publishers. How many booksellers? They are out there. They don't want to become members of Booksellers Association. How many printers do we have? Go to, what do you call it, Shomolu. They are there, but they are not accredited printers. So the first thing the government has to do is to create a platform whereby anybody wants to call him or herself a printer must register with that, with that umbrella organization through his or her own professional organization. Anybody wants to become a bookseller, for example, anybody wants to come and exhibit here, for example, must register as a bookseller with that commission. We are talking, I cannot, stop talking about National Book Commission, because you see, there was Nigerian Book Development Council in the 70s. But before there was an enabling act, it was cancelled and merged with NRDC as a book department. That was the first blow to the book industry. Because we are, all the stakers, when I say stakers, the practitioners, members of the book chain, they are not having it easy. But there's no umbrella organization that you can channel your grievances to get to the government. Because part of it, you see, the book industry is a very peculiar industry. Part of it has to do with Ministry of Education. Part of it with the industry. Part of it with Nigerian Standard Organization. Part of it with manufacturing. So you don't know where to go. But if there's an umbrella organization like the National Book Commission, then with somebody who knows about the book industry, of course, then there will be directorate, authorship, publishing, printing, distribution. Under distribution, you have libraries, you have bookshops. Because it appears that there's no continuity. All we are saying now, they are not new. We've been saying it in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Because, like we said, and it was pointed out during the conference on Tuesday, how can somebody just wake up and put 50% import duty on books? Which means they are not looking at, they don't have records to fall back on. Nigeria signed the Florence Agreement. Even the National Book Policy, the draft of 1997, even states that books should not attract import duties, which means there's no coordination, there's no continuity, there's no follow-up. People just take you're appointed, you just go and you think you can just form your own theory like that without consulting the stakers. That's the first thing we have to do. Let's have an umbrella organization like National Book Commission that will look not just the problem of book selling alone, not just the problem of publishing alone. We take a holistic look, sit down with the members of the book chain, analyze the problems, solve them, and then there should be a section on research and statistics. For example, we don't know how many books are being imported. We're just saying that, we're importing a lot of books. How many volumes are being imported on a yearly basis, on a quarterly basis, and in what subject areas? Are you getting me? Then, how many books are being printed abroad? Why are these books being printed abroad? You see, publishers will say it's cheaper for them to print abroad. Some of them are even giving 60 days credit, which you cannot get from any printer in Nigeria. What is the print run? We've got to a stage where we cannot be planning now without facts. We need facts and figures. Are you getting me? Like the Nigerian Book Foundation and the Pan-African Booksellers Association, of which I'm the immediate president, we organize a workshop that increasing towards improving the relationship of stakeholders in the book chain. We came up with what we call integrated code of conduct. It was not implemented. Whereas if there's a National Book Commission, this will go there, and then there is an assurance that it will be implemented. Now, at the intercontinental level, Pan-African Booksellers Association and APNET, that is Association of Publishers Network, we came up with a memorandum of understanding. They were being implemented in other African countries. Nigeria, it has not been implemented because publishers and booksellers are not partnering. They are not working together. They are not cooperating. And this is what I have been talking and laying emphasis on for years. Let us sit down and talk.
The recent WAEC, UME exams have been very, very poor. I'm wondering, are they in any way related to the condition or the state of the book sector in Nigeria?
When I was growing up, I met on the ground a network of good bookshops. CSS in those days had about 57 branches all over the country. Yes. And then bookshops were everywhere. Parents were buying, school children were going, but bookshops, many of them have folded, many of them have closed down. You know why? I tell you. First of all, book distribution policy of the government favored publishers and contractors. Booksellers are bypassed. Because you see, publishers have neglected booksellers. Governments looked at them as if they are adding to the cost of books. But that is not the case. When students cannot buy, it's good. You supply books free. In most cases, they cannot take these books home. They cannot go to bookshops to buy. Because you see, booksellers believe that the money that they need through the distribution of bread and butter areas of book selling, which is primary schools and secondary school, have eluded them. Where will they get money to buy general books? Where will they get money to buy books for information? Where will they get books that will stimulate impulse reading to buy, So these are the problems. Bookshops are closing down. This is the effects you are seeing in the JAMB results. Books are given to them free. They cannot take the books home. Bookshops that are supposed to stock them are no longer there. Some of them that are there look for another area where they can now make money. So you see, bookshop is very important. And we have all traveled. You see bookshops around everywhere, every village, every city. Look at Africa. They have implemented the MOU. And because of it now, because you see, you have to register before you can call yourself a bookseller. So bookshops are springing up in villages. In East Africa, in South Africa, in Central Africa, but not in Nigeria. What the government should do now concerning tertiary level books, they should have a sort of a 5-year plan or 10-year plan. Say within so and so, we are going to mobilize some lecturers and train them. Like when Professor Omotola was the Vice Chancellor, he made it compulsory that every professor must come out with a book. And you are being subsidized. The books are being subsidized. Now, I tell you one scenario. I was sent to India for 6 weeks when I was the University of Lagos bookshop manager through the Fellowship Award of Association of Commonwealth Universities to go and study textbook tertiary subsidized publication. I came back, I wrote a beautiful report, which I sent to National Book Commission, that it was not acknowledged today. Even Nigerian publishers don't even want the textbook to be subsidized. This is why Indian book industry has grown. Because the government has come up with a textbook committee. At that committee, you bring they look at all the books. Once the books have been adopted, they pay you 40% royalty right there. That is not for you to go and start another book. And when the book is considered adopted, of course they have to determine the grammage, but that is how they are growing.